Hello and welcome to the seventh and final module where we're wrapping things up. So, first of all, huge congratulations. This is quite a milestone. And before I leave you, I wanted to include this wrap up lesson slash module just to pull everything that we've covered together into one clear, actionable roadmap. So, hopefully, you've learned a lot through this course. We definitely covered a lot from positioning to pricing to onboarding to creating content on LinkedIn to planning for the future. Now it's time to zoom out and look at how all of the pieces connect with each other. So think of this as your operating system, a checklist that you can revisit anytime you're stuck or you're starting something new or leveling up. And in fact, there is a checklist in the course resources section and in this module that summarizes these different actions that we've covered throughout the entire course. So definitely check that out. And with that in mind, let's dive in. Starting with honing in on your service offering and ICP. I sound like a broken record. This has come up in pretty much every module, so that should one, be an indication of how much I value this step. I feel like it is the foundation that everything is built on. But two, luckily, since we've talked about it a ton, I don't need to get into really the nitty gritty of providing any more information here. So the main action item is just be sure to figure out what you do, who you do it for, and how you do it. Outline that in very simple language that's very clear, that makes it obvious for potential clients to choose you. And now we'll shift into client lifecycle management. Within that, you've got attracting clients, you've got your sales process, and then onboarding. So for attracting clients, it's not about luck. That plays a part of it, but consistency is also a huge part as well. So you can market yourself through LinkedIn content like we covered, networking slash referrals with people from previous roles, striking up new networking relationships on LinkedIn, going to events, etc. And then also referrals from clients. Testimonials work really well for this. And my last note here is that it is just as important to know who you don't want to work with. You'll start to recognize red flags, whether it's like vague scopes or too tight of deadlines or the way that they treat you and talk to you or no budget clarity. You'll start to pick up on these things along the way. And as you meet with more potential prospects, it's a skill that you'll gain that'll just save you tons of time and stress. And on the sales side, once you're talking to prospects, your aim is to qualify, guide, and close. We covered this a lot in the discovery call process module. So prior to that discovery prospecting call, provide all of the information about working with you, your general scope, your fee, and an overview of how you work. And remember, discovery calls are about listening. Ask about their business, how they're currently getting leads, what's working, what's not, and listen out for problems that they have and that is really on top of their mind, and then provide ideas for solutions. And for proposals, they should be simple, clear, and tailored. You can use the template I provided in the course resources section to help with this. And then you'll put together an agreement. You can also get a more formal contract if you like. But again, I don't really like to lock my clients into formal contracts. I'd rather just get a client services agreement together. And once they've signed it and you've sent the invoice, then you roll into onboarding. And speaking of onboarding, I believe onboarding sets the tone for the entire client relationship moving forward. With that, first impressions are super important. You want a strong start. You want a great onboarding. So get access, send the 90-day plan and a getting started email. Get a kickoff call scheduled to make it official and keep yourself organized. Clients love clarity and they also want to be kept in the loop, especially early on in the relationship. So with that, I recommend over communicating early on. Then we go into ongoing management. At this point, your job becomes performance and proactivity. Each week, you're optimizing campaigns, testing new ad copy, watching trends. You're not just doing tasks, you're interpreting data and making decisions. So try to carve out time for bigger picture ideas too. That could be new campaigns, new audiences, new strategies. And you'll also want to keep retention in mind at this point, because the easiest way to grow your business is by keeping great clients for the long term. So that means delivering consistent results, proactive communication, and offering ideas before they even ask. That covers the client-facing part of the business processes. let's move into back end business ops. So, in addition to managing client PPC accounts, you also have to work on your business. I recommend using tools like Notion, Asana, Trello, whatever you want to track your tasks and to keep yourself organized for both your client work and your internal business work. Set aside deep work time, schedule meetings strategically that work with your workflow. So if you know that you've got a better thinking brain in the morning and not a great talking brain in the morning, don't schedule client calls in the mornings. So kind of optimize your schedule to fit how you work best. And give yourself time each week to check in on your own goals. So yes, client goals are important, but you're running your own business, so your goals are equally as important. And you also need to get comfortable with the monetary side of your business. Make sure that you're sending out invoices on time. I recommend first of the month. Be sure to track your expenses and save money for those quarterly taxes. And lastly, keep professional growth in mind. Stay sharp. The best freelancers aren't static. They're constantly learning, iterating, trying new things. Join Slack groups, follow newsletters, listen to podcasts, share what you're testing. Just be a sponge and try to stay on top of all of the changes in both marketing as well as more specifically PPC. That way you can best support your current clients and you're more attractive to future clients moving forward. It also helps keep you ahead of the curve, which is always a good thing. So what's next? If you're here, then you're ready to take action if you have not already. So you have the knowledge, you have the roadmap, and you've heard real world examples from me. So now it's time to take action, whether that means determining a savings goal if you're in the very, very beginning stages of your journey, or you're adjusting your LinkedIn profile to reflect your freelance business, drafting your first post, or telling one person about your business plans. Doesn't matter. Just take one step. There's a ton of action items in this course to get you started and in the rhythm of doing rather than just learning and observing. And with that, I hope this course gave you the confidence to move forward. So thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to see what you build. With that in mind, please connect with me on LinkedIn if you haven't already and keep me updated on your progress. My DMs are open and I'd love to hear from you. And once again, thank you for your time. Time is precious, so I don't take it lightly. Congrats on completing this course, and I wish you all the success in growing your freelance business.